Hey guys, how you doing? My name's Kent Tilley, and I've been in the financial planning business for 11 or 12 years. Started my career at Investors Group, and then in 2016 started my own financial planning company. Um, and so I thought, why not do something a little bit different today and talk about the idea of what this career is like, and talk about some of the paths in, the education requirements, the pros, the cons of this career. If you're thinking about a career change, if you've been approached by somebody to maybe enter this career, if you're really interested in it, I'll just talk to you about some of the things I know about the different entry points that you can make. I'll name the four main ones. I haven't worked in all four of these roles, so I don't know exactly how they all work. However, I have a really good general idea of the career, and so I'll just kind of get into it. Education-wise, it is really nothing, which was the most surprising part for me in the very beginning. When I started sort of learning about the career and wondering if I wanted to get into it, I was like, well, I don't think I know enough. I didn't go to university and get a finance degree. I don't have those credentials. How do I get in? Actually, it was as easy as me taking the mutual funds course and then the LLQP, which is the life insurance license course, which then allow you to sell mutual funds and life insurance. And then as you continue through your career, you can take the QAFP and then on to the CFP and sort of increase your credentials over time. But just as an entry point, it's basically a couple courses that take about a week. And, the mutual funds test is very simple in my mind. The life insurance one was a little bit harder. And then you get in and you get trained by the institution that you work for, and they kind of mold you into the advisor that you're going to be, unless you start thinking a little bit outside the box like I did and saying, you know what, I actually want to, maybe not make a ton of money for this giant corporation that I don't really love that much. So education requirements are limited, but then it's a really, really, really crazy learning curve for the first year or two. Like especially for a guy like me, there are a lot of people that might watch this channel and a bunch of other channels, read a lot of books. You will have a high level of understanding of financial planning because you've educated yourself. But when I started entering it at like 29 or whatever age I was, I didn't know anything. I kind of knew what an RSP was, didn't really know anything else. So I was learning all of this, and after about 2 weeks of training, I was supposed to go and tell people I was the expert in the room, which I certainly wasn't, but I did have people I could ask questions to at the back office and try and figure it out. And obviously Google is your friend, I think, in any profession these days. So we'll start with the pros. The main pros that you're obviously going to be talked about when you enter into this sort of discussion with anybody that's trying to sell you on the career, because they can make money off of you, is that there's very high income potential. That is absolutely true. You can make a ton of money in this career. However, what they don't tell you is that most people fail, and most people do not make really any money for at least the first 4 or 5 years, because it is very difficult. The work-life balance of being a financial advisor, especially not if you're at the bank, which I'll talk about because that's more of a 9-to-5 job, but an advisor at a firm where you can go out and do your own marketing and do your own things and have meetings in the evenings or the mornings. You get to choose your hours, and it is a big part of the role that I love, is that I get to work around my own schedule. So I can always go to my son's soccer games or, go on field trips with him or, take an afternoon off to go golfing with friends or whatever. So the work-life balance, once you've kind of made it, is great. The work-life balance in the beginning when you're making no money is actually really stressful because it's hard to keep busy. So you have all this free time, but you have absolutely no money. You are kind of your own boss depending on the firm you're at. They're going to tell you a lot of times like, oh, you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to do this and that and whatever. Well, you're kind of your own boss because you're running your own practice, but you do have a boss. You do have a corporation generally that you're working for. You can't totally make your own rules, and you're not actually your own boss. You can get fired from a job at one of these corporations. So they're sort of lying to you when they tell you you're your own boss, but you kind of are. And one of my favorite parts of the career is that it gives you the ability to, build long-term relationships with clients that you care about. And that part is nice. For me, my dad was a physician. I loved having his old patients come up to me and talk about how wonderful their experience was with him. And I thought, well, I don't want to go to school for 10 years to be a doctor. But, I basically ended up having to go to school for 10 years to do this job. Just, I got to make a little bit of money along the way. But to have those relationships has been, really rewarding. Helping people is really rewarding when, it works. It's great. The cons, the first one I sort of touched on, very difficult in the beginning. And, most people coming in, how are you going to get clients? You've got to go and approach all of your family and friends. That becomes awkward. You're going to parties. You're trying to talk to everybody about who's your advisor. Or, you're always on sales mode, and it's very difficult, but you also need to make money, and you're trying to help. So you're stressing out. I really didn't like that part about it, which is why I started the YouTube channel, so that I didn't have to be in that life where, I'm going to parties, or I'm emailing or calling family and friends, or having call nights or whatever, because I hated that part of it. I don't like the sales role part of it. It's also a very emotionally draining career because it's like this. Any sales job is like this, but it's, I think, exceptionally emotionally draining because money is one of the most emotional things that humans can feel, other than, poor health. So, you're selling people on the idea that you're doing better, but then you do not control the market. You do not control the returns, and people can get upset with you, or you can feel that they're upset with you, which is mostly my thing in this role, is that I feel like they're upset because could I have made a better choice? Did I don't know, right? And that wears you down. It is draining. And then the other thing that I think is a serious con is, if you start in this business, you're going to be working generally for a giant company. And in order to be successful, you actually have to drink that Kool-Aid. Otherwise, you won't believe in it. And I just couldn't drink the Kool-Aid at any corporation. So, I'm forever thankful that I took the plunge and went out on my own. But it'd be very difficult to start this career just right off the bat at a small firm, or starting your own small firm would be next to impossible because you just certainly wouldn't know enough. You wouldn't be good enough. So now let's talk about, the 4 sort of entry points in no particular order. We'll start with one that most people have probably been approached about at some point in their life, which is a firm like WFG or Primerica. And basically, they're always looking for new advisors, and they're claiming that you are a financial advisor, but all they're doing, if you're trying to start with them, is they want you to contact all of your family and friends and ask them if they also want to be an advisor. So you're not actually an advisor, you're just trying to generate more advisors, and then you can hopefully go and get a few clients, sell them some segregated funds, sell them some mutual funds, and sell them some insurance, and then build this little pyramid underneath you. I would certainly not recommend this path. You can make an absolute fortune going this route. However, you have to drink the Kool-Aid like somebody, I can't even imagine how people can drink this Kool-Aid. Knowing what I know about this business and those products and what they're suggesting, you would have to be an absolute psychopath to believe that you're doing the right things for your clients, because you're not. So do not do that. It's a nightmare. Second path, this is the most stable one. You could go and get a job as an advisor in a bank. That means you have, a network, or not a network, but a list of names that are already customers that you can call, that are coming in asking for advice, whatever, so and so. Now you're making a salary in this position, which is nice because all of the other positions are completely commission based. However, this salary is not high compared to the work that you're doing and the amount of money that you are making for this financial institution or this bank. And they are not giving you good training as to how to be a good advisor. All they're training you on in this circumstance is to actually sit down with people and try and sell them on more debt or more products that are going to make the bank the most money at that point in time. So they will have quotas and say, on this month, we want to sell a whole bunch of GICs, even though that might not be the best bet. Or we really have this promotion to get people signed up for this credit card, or we want to get people signed up for this much line of credit debt or whatever. So you're going to learn a lot about the banking system in this. The only way to really make money in that role is to move your way up to the brokerage channel, or, an advisory role that's a little bit higher up than just the first person that, is sitting in that office and, signing people up for credit cards or loans or whatever, because that's generally your job, is just sort of a paper pusher, and then saying, oh, also, do you want to buy a $10,000 RSP? And you're going to go into this generic mutual fund, and we're going to pretend that we just gave you a financial plan. Probably my favorite role to start at would be at a place like IG or Sun Life or something like that, because generally speaking, even though there are issues with these companies, do not get me wrong, these are not like my favorite companies in the world. The job there is to actually teach you how to be an advisor, and being an advisor over like a bank advisor is that our goal as an advisor at, say, IG was to make sure you had more investments and less debt. But the advisor role at the bank is the opposite, where it's like, we want you to have more debt and less investments, basically. Plus, you actually are insurance licensed if you're at IG or Sun Life or whatever. So you do have the ability to actually give comprehensive financial plans that focus on all 6 areas of financial planning. They have better training. However, it is still a sales role. You're still going to have to go out and get your own clients. They are not going to help you find them. They do not put money into promotions for you as a consultant or advisor on your own. That is up to you, and it is very difficult. And the more you know about the business, you might be like, well, I don't really want to sell that, but that's the only way that I can make money, is to sell this product. So you kind of have to, tell yourself, what, for the greater good of myself, I actually have to put myself before my client, which was a very difficult thing for me to get over. However, it is really good training generally, because, they're going to be teaching you the comprehensive part of it and trying to turn you into a CFP, which is important. So that's part of the role. And then last but not least, and there are some other ways in for sure, is, the broker. So in that case, you're going to want to take the Canadian securities course instead of the mutual funds course, so you can sell stocks and ETFs and whatever. And your job there is basically just to gather assets from higher net worth clients. And then your job is going to be, I'm building a portfolio. I'm not really giving the financial advice. My job is to be your broker. I am building a portfolio that is supposed to be creating better returns for my clients over time. Now, this would be the role I would take if I was really interested in investment management only. I'm not interested in investment management. Interested in the things I can control, like financial planning and the advice and whatever. So if you're really interested in investment management, that would be the role to take. But the very difficult part of that is that you basically need to be generating so much more money in the investment management world to actually make a living than the other channels. So you need to have a really big network of people that you think you can get to buy these big products off of you, because you're probably not selling insurance. And one of the ways to sort of help your income in the beginning is that you can make decent commissions selling insurance in the beginning. I mean, you can make huge commissions if you're at WFG and you're only selling garbage insurance products to people that can't afford them. You can make a ton of money, but you're basically screwing people over to put yourself first. Like Matthew McConaughey says in Wolf of Wall Street, the money is better in my hands than it is in theirs. And you actually have to feel that to be good at that job. So if you feel that and you want to do that, good for you, I guess, but you're kind of a piece of trash. And I'm not saying that to people that get into this career, because you don't know in the beginning. You just don't. But I do. And I know that's what they're doing. And I know that it's garbage. And one of the things at K4 that we're trying to do, and as I grow, and hopefully other small companies in Canada grow like me as well, is that we will provide careers for people to get into this business, earn, an income instead of a commission as they're learning how to do this, and train them properly and treat the clients right and put them first, and everybody can be better off because of it. But, that's a lot easier said than done. So that's the goal. Those are some of the things you need to think about. Ask a ton of questions, ask around to friends, figure it all out. Contact me if you have questions about it. I'm happy to talk about the career. Anything else, just do your research. It can be a very rewarding career, but there are challenges, and you want to pick the right place to hang your hat for sure. Cheers.